stronger than a fighter, 'cause all my life I've been fighting. Never felt a feeling of comfort. All this time I've been hiding, and I never had someone to call my own. No, I'm so used to sharing. Love only left me alone, but I'm at one with the silence. I found peace in your violence. Can't show me there's no point in trying. I'm at one, and I've been silent for too long. I've been quiet for too long. I've been quiet for too long.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening. It depends from wherever you are watching us. Thanks for choosing us today. It's your show, the Therapeutic Talk Show, and I'm your host today. My name is Abraham Kasongo. As usual, I am not alone on stage today. I'm having a very special guest with us. Sir, good morning.
Morning, Sam. How are you?
I'm all right. I hope you're doing well too.
Yeah, by God's grace.
Thank you. Are you comfortable?
Yeah, really much comfortable.
Thank you. So today, as I mentioned before, we're having some really hot topic from our viewers who wants to know some about our institution and some general information around. Um, sir, may you please introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Freddy. I'm Congolese, and currently I'm on a final year in economics
Mhm,
in the CPOG um, college.
mhm.
And yeah, I've been here since 2018. It's been a
Oh,
while.
yeah, for sure.
And what else? I've been my community president, and I've had quite a lot of responsibility ever since I joined the university, which I assume we're going to talk about.
Mhm. For sure. Yes, that's why we're here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's kick it off. So, you said that you've been here some few years ago, and how would you describe your journey ever since you joined the African University community? Was it positive or negative?
I think, to be honest, it's quite balanced
Mm-hmm.
because our experience on campus it has been a little bit altered
All right.
by the COVID-19,
Yeah, yeah.
which has actually shrunk a lot of freedom and movement.
Mm-hmm.
So that I would say was quite the negative part of my journey so far here. Otherwise, it's just been amazing. It has been an incredible experience that I'm still thankful to myself that I offered myself
Wow.
to come here.
All right. This is very interesting. Um, as you came here, you probably came from somewhere. That's obvious. So, changing an environment can sometimes be hard to handle. How did the university make you feel comfortable from where you were coming from home? I'm pretty sure you were comfortable. How did the university manage to make you feel comfortable home, to make you home far away from home?
Well, I think that's it's a very complex question
Uh-huh.
in such a way that, to be honest, there is a kind of an integration process here
Okay.
put in place by the university because they know they've been dealing with international for a very
Mhm.
long time. And yeah, it starts from intensive English where you're accommodated and accepted the way you are. So it's like they really accept your English level, which was really rudimentary back then, which is really low for
Mhm.
me and for all of my classmates. And yeah, the university makes you feel like, okay, we accept you the way you are,
Mhm.
and we are willing to take you through the journey, which starts first with learning the language.
Yeah.
But all in all, that's pretty much it on the university side. The university is only focused on the academics,
Okay.
and they're just carrying on with the cultural um, behaviors that have been here on campus. So you just integrate yourself. But I think what's really made me feel comfortable is my community, because getting here and finding people from the same place as you're coming from, it's a huge asset in the integration process, because they know you and you feel home. You take them as your brothers, not like you're not taking the others as your brothers, but you just reach here and you kind of lost. You trying to find your landmarks and where
Mhm.
exactly you're going to start from, and then you find people that you're coming from the same area and stuff. So it really makes it easier.
Sure.
So the integration was a mixture of a lot of things, but I'll be honest and say, in the first place, when I first joined, what makes me feel comfortable was the community.
The community.
Mm.
All right. So, talking about the community, you mentioned that for you to feel comfortable, it was all about an integration process. So, how would you, from your own experience, how do you think other students integrate themselves? Is it like it's mostly based on how they do their socializing with people, how they maybe, because some people are introverts, so it's kind of hard for them to even get into communities, into clubs, into talking to other people. How do you think that students used to integrate themselves?
University is a very hostile environment,
Okay.
to really be honest, because uh, most of people, I mean, majority of them, they
Mm,
just straight coming from high school, where there's a lot of restrictions, where you're told every little things you're supposed to do. So
for sure.
it's just limited freedom, and then you come to university, and then you have got all the freedom you've got in life. And African university is also a bit different, not only for us internationals, but even for nationals, because
Mhm.
they'll be far away from home. They don't have anybody to be looking after them. So the integration, when someone joins here, it's it, it's a kind of where exactly you land. It's like just an aircraft, and you're landing on uncharted territory.
Yeah.
You kind of, where exactly am I going to find my landmarks? So the integration is just part of it. The personality. Some people, they were soccer players, so they really find themselves getting integrated
Hmm.
through soccer.
Yeah.
Some people, they're singers,
Hmm.
and from the very first days they join the choirs. And some people, they're party makers, they just love party, and they integrate themselves
Into
in
party.
such a way. So all in all, it's just your personality and where exactly you stand from. But I do believe uh, uh, for both internationals and locals, that's also like continuing students have played a major role in integrating the, the new ones. And we also know that there is that process that the university take you through
Yeah.
when you just
The
arrive.
orientation.
Exactly, the orientation process,
Mhm.
which also gives you an insight of what is that. Because when I joined here during the orientation, they even took us to a trip and stuff like that. They present the choirs, they present different activities, so that everyone can really identify or the areas or the kind of interest way they
Mhm.
belong to. So yeah, for me the integration is just kind of a matter of personality and where exactly you want to go.
All right. Thank you very much. This is mind opening. Yeah, for most of the freshmen here who are following us online. Um, as an international student, we usually see that there is this program under the International Student Advice Office where there is the vacation relief program. So international students usually stay around campus during summer and winter time. How was that experience? And through you, we would like to hear all the international students. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just I, I was here almost over vacation.
Okay.
Just about tea. I went home for the attachment. So
Mm.
it's, I mean, it's just a matter of consciousness.
Sure.
I mean, you know that the vacation relief program is based on a, it's a reward based thing. You work, and then in return, the university gives you food and accommodation. So in the first place,
Mm.
and I think almost all the vacation, I was really committed to that because there might be penalties in case you don't fulfill
Mm.
your duty, as you don't work, but you be getting food and accommodation. So I had that in mind. But to be honest, except from the work itself, how it's supposed to be done, because you really have to be committed
Mm-hmm.
and tell yourself that it's something that I need to do, and it's something that's is part of my from the moment you're a law abiding student, so
Yeah.
you respect the regulations and everything, you do it properly. And we'll see people waking up every morning, going to the farm. No matter the kind of job they'll be given, people will be just working properly because they assume it's part of their duty.
For
We
sure.
accept it
Mm-hmm.
because the VRP is not mandatory.
Yes.
Yeah, it's optional.
It's
You
optional.
accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And from the moment you accept it, you know what you're supposed to do. So the work was quite fine. I can't really complain. And I know some people, they complain sometimes that it's heavy. Yeah, which I understand. But personally, I never really found it because I knew what I was supposed to do.
Sure.
But on the other side, when it comes to leisure, when it comes to other activities, it's quite poor and
Mm-hmm.
very quiet during vacation. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like international students, they take matters in their own hand
Okay.
and try to organize and entertain themselves. The university doesn't really have those supportive uh, I mean supportive activities,
Activity.
and especially during Christmas vacation, there's
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks the after the semester ends, they also go on leave.
Mm-hmm.
So students will be just there, and most of the time we're just in our rooms and just coming up with games by our own. But there isn't much support from the university, which I can't complain. Personally, during vacation, I've been doing my personal stuff because it was a time that I really put interest through courses, through discoveries, a lot of stuff. I mean, having the free time during vacation, it's something really uh, beneficial
Mm.
to kind of people who've got a busy schedule or a lot of personal stuff to work on. So yeah, it was. I mean, there's a contrast
Yeah.
between the fact that sometimes we think that we are not so much supported, we are not so much considered
Mm-hmm.
during this program, and on the other hand, you just have your free time
Mm-hmm.
and you can do whatever you wish to. So
Yes.
you do the master of your own time. So yeah, that's the contrast of today. But overally, it was quite good.
All right. That's okay. Very interesting. Um, during the pandemic, the COVID pandemic time, most of international students have been here, and from the time you were here, we could take classes online and all that. Although there were restrictions and all that could be happening, how was that experience? And which supports did you receive from the university?
The COVID, when back in March 2020, it took us by storm. Like
Yes,
no one was prepared for
that
that.
was a big
We're just
surprise.
hearing something that there is a kind of a virus in
Yeah,
China. We were all thinking that this is a China stuff
yeah.
because it wasn't the first one.
Mm-hmm.
There was a previous one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the SARS-CoV-1,
Yeah, that's
which
right.
was yeah again in China. We're like, okay, this is going to be their own
I won't
problems.
consider.
We're not going to be involved
Yeah.
in any way.
Uh-huh.
And then it was there at our doors. And then the media kept on hammering and blasting. So it was on all
Yeah.
screens. And we all panicked. I remember we all panicked. The university were like, okay, the government is saying we need to take measures.
Wow.
Everybody needs to go home. We need to to isolate ourselves. We need to restrict our movement. And I personally left campus.
Okay.
Yeah, back then I know some of international students remained here, but I left because I followed the instructions. The university said you need to
You
leave,
need to leave, yeah?
and then yeah. So when we came back, I think the university was already working on it.
Mhm.
I mean, they had time to settle down and see exactly how we're going to handle this pandemic because we can't stop school. And thank God the university had the resources to carry out with online lectures and those kind of things. And I think it was a bit easier for them because I remember even before COVID-19, the university were trying to implement a paperless campus.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, where everything will be submitted electronically,
Yeah.
no more hard copies and stuff.
Mhm.
So there was already an ongoing process.
Mhm.
I think COVID-19 just came and accelerated it.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, when we came back here, I was by the way subwadded back then
Okay.
during COVID-19. I think there was a clash. There was a real clash between students and the staff
Mm-hmm.
because students wanted their freedom. Students didn't want to change their way of doing things. You know, we're used to a certain way of doing things, and then on the other hand, just a lot of restrictions. So it was a clash because um, because this is the way it is, and I believe it was not only here; it was all over the world. People were getting arrested. People were just getting tired of wearing masks and isolate themselves because isolation is it's actually it's a weapon against our mental health. Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
really killing.
That's
And
right.
yeah, there were really a lot of clashes, but I understood that the university didn't have any other choice than to follow the government's regulations. Most of the regulations that were really implemented here were not universities' regulations, were government regulations. It's
Mhm.
university which is following and um, making sure that everyone enforcing, if I would say that. So yeah, the experience wasn't good. It's actually a dark page,
Mhm.
a dark moment of my university experience because for me, university means opening up to others, exploring and discovering and exchanging. University is all about connections and stuff, but COVID-19 was just the total opposites of my definition of a proper experience at
Wow.
university. Yeah. So it was really a dark moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a dark moment. Piling up challenges, piling up restrictions, and I'm sure we didn't leave out of that COVID time the same way we entered it. All of us were in one way or the other affected by that, and it's really changed the way we see things. It's really changed that we should never take anything for granted anymore. And every single day we are on the look because I remember sometimes the government will ease the restrictions and then you'll be happy. Yeah, they're allowing like for soccer players who can again play soccer. So people are really rejoicing. And then 3 weeks later, another set of restriction, no more soccer. And so it was just like that. And I think for the humankind, we live in anticipation. Human beings, they always anticipate what they're going to do in 1 month, in 2 months, and during COVID time, it was just impossible because you
plan.
couldn't, yeah, you just couldn't anticipate what is going to happen in 2 months. What are we going to do again? Are they going to send us back to our rooms again? So it is really a dark moment for me, and I'm sure it is in one way spoiled the academic experience that I was really expecting. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Uh, we can all understand from this that it's been a lot of challenges going on. So, as an international student, what do you think are the main challenges that most of the international students face once on campus?
I think the first one, which is quite obvious, is with the immigration.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a not a really good experience with the immigration. My first days, I had actually to pay a penalty
Oh,
for overstay, which wasn't my fault. It was really frustrating to me. I
okay.
was like, okay, this is not my fault. I came here and you got an admission letter, you called here, and then you arrive here. I think that is one of the first challenge. I know there is that international student advisor office,
Mm-hmm.
but uh, I think it should have been a little more involved
Okay,
into
thank you.
what students do,
Okay.
because we just newly arrived here.
Mm-hmm.
None of us knows the regulation of these countries. None of us knows it in the offices.
For sure.
And for us coming from French-speaking countries, we're not even that fluent in
Language
English
is
to
a
be able
barrier too.
to communicate. But most of the time, it. I think now I'm seeing that things are getting a little better,
Mm-hmm.
because such things like penalties and everything are just um, and drastically reduced
Mm-hmm.
to my own experience. But back then, they couldn't really take you through the process and make you like, okay, you are now into university science.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was by my own, like I had to do it by my own
Oh,
and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's one of the first challenge. And uh, to me, I'm just talking on a personal basis,
for sure.
and
Yeah.
from what I've been observing, uh, this is a Pan African university, and there is a kind of a confrontation of
Okay.
cultures, beliefs, and uh, practices, behaviors. So that's one of the challenge we sometimes face here, is because you're coming from somewhere, you're used to do things in a certain way,
Yes.
and suddenly you're meeting people that actually
That's
do
their
things in
thing.
a very different way,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to get accommodated to that. So some people, they just don't want, you know, they want to drastically remain, so they are really
Same.
strict on saying, I do things the way
Cannot change myself.
you cannot change myself. Yeah.
Mm.
And that's another challenge.
Yeah.
It's Yeah, it's a Pan-African university, and I know that the school is giving freedom to people and is trying to allow them to express themselves as much as they can,
Yeah.
because the diversity that is so much marketed and you know put on the table here at African University lies in the fact that everyone should be free to live the way their culture or the way they live back home. So it's another problem that I've been observing, because international students, we complain a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We complain for the food. We complain, yeah.
For everything.
We even complain for church. Yeah, because people will be like, no, back home,
Mm-hmm.
this is not the way
This
things
is,
are done.
yeah.
And yeah, it's it's a challenge.
Mm.
And I know the university, on this point, I can't blame them, because there isn't much they can do, because they can't set standards. Because if they set standard, then it's no longer a multicultural environment. Multicultural environment means uh, everyone should be free. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
should be free to do
Mm-hmm.
things the way they wish
The way
to
they
do them.
wish to, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the kind. It's a kind of cultural clash,
Mm-hmm.
if I'll say it like that. And another thing, the frustration goes on. Um, I'll take the example of the representatives
Mm-hmm.
for the students, for the student union,
Mm-hmm.
and it's it's kind of imbalanced, because I'll just give an example. I don't know, we might be 400 or 500 international students here
Mm-hmm.
for a total of 2,000. So we're just like maybe 10, 15%, 20% of the students here.
Mm-hmm.
But the representatives are elected on a majority base. And knowing this thing of most of the time, people, even during the campaign time, they have the tendency of only supporting the people that they know, or the
Mm-hmm.
people that they same country from. It's kind of an imbalance, and I think there should be a review on that, because it frustrates internationals for sure. Because locals are really the majority here, so
Mm-hmm.
there can't be fairness um, in those in the selection or in the votes for this SRC only based on majority. I do believe there might be something done in that way. It's created a lot of clashes. International students usually they have to come together. They have to be supportive. We kind of we kind of constructing a block of international students, which is not good and which is not playing at our own favor. And it's another frustration that I see, and maybe I think should be changed in the years to come. There's many ways through which the university can really change that or just make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And but those are just little things, and you kind of have a closer look
Yeah.
to see them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But overall, it's it's a welcoming place, and even the country itself,
For sure.
Zimbabweans are really welcoming,
Yes.
and they're really friendly. They accept you even though you don't speak the local language.
Uh-huh.
They understand straight, especially in Mutare,
Uh-huh.
when they know that we are close to African University, and at African University, the international student, they accommodate you, they make you feel better. I can give you an example of my home place. When you're a foreigner, how it's an hostile place for you. Yeah. But here
Yeah.
it's much different. We really have to acknowledge it.
Uh-huh.
Internationals, we don't really, you don't much feel like you're not home.
Mm-hmm.
I was even when I went back home, I was even telling people there, so I feel more home there than here. Yeah, because it's a real welcoming place. And
Yeah.
people are really friendly. So I really have to mention that.
Just amazing.
Exactly, yeah. It's a country that I would never hesitate to live in, even though, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Wow. That was a whole journey taking us all through, and yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
interesting journey. And you have you have been mentioning some of the complaints and all the needs of the international student. I'm pretty sure into the international student groups there are structures, right? In terms of leadership, would you please mention some names of the people who did a great job into standing on behalf of their communities or as international students, maybe through their position in leadership, being as president of this or that community, or probably representing all the students in the SRSC.
Yeah. When I first came here,
Mm-hmm.
the SRC president was Zambian.
Okay.
Yeah, I still remember it was Mr. Brian, or if I can remember what his name.
Okay.
And yeah, through the little talks
Mm-hmm.
that I had with him, I really find him really concerned
Mm-hmm.
about internationals and stuff. I even when he even heard about me paying a penalty at the immigration office there, he was kind of shocked. He was like, "Why didn't you come and see?" So it was someone with a kind of leadership. I still remember even for intensive English class.
Mm-hmm.
The particularity of intensive English class is that it's made up 100% internationals.
Yes.
So it's a kind of a representative. I mean, it's a sample of how best internationals can be treated.
Sure.
So if intensive English class is really treated well and everything, internationals feel that they are being well treated.
Mm.
Mr. Brian offered us two trips. If I do remember, we had a trip at the um, Zimbabwean heroes. I think it's a museum. It's a very nice place where uh, all the heroes from the Liberation War are buried, and kind of. It was a very interesting trip, and I also remember there was another trip to Mashengo. I really found Mr. Brian really invested in the, and his particular attention and the way he was standing on behalf of international was something that was appealing to me, and I really found it very uh, very interesting. So uh, that's one person I can say. And I also remember uh, even recently Mr. Abakuk.
Okay.
He actually took a voice again on the bigger stage because it was actually his uh, what can I say? It was his harrow
All right.
that he had in hand while going and campaigning for SRC presidency is to make the voice of international students heard.
Yes.
And I really felt, although I was just here for a semester during his tenure, but the voice was already on the bigger stage.
Okay.
Yeah, I could feel it even in the discussions, and yeah, it's just something that was really noticeable. So I also mentioned Mr. Abakuk's name, and absolutely, I have to mention the name of current VC, uh, Professor Nageto, who we kind of feel safe every single time we talk with him, and he's always open to listen to others. He's always open to listen to internationals, because I do believe if he assumes he's invested with the role, being himself an international, to also stand on behalf of all internationals. So yeah, I know he has been with us throughout vacation relief programs, even encouraging people to even apply for scholarships and stuff. And he has always been there. Back then, he was just the deputy vice chancellor, and thereafter the acting VC. But yeah, I would feel safe having him in the office. I mean, in the higher office of the university, because we you feel safe. Honestly, I personally felt safe to have him around. I personally felt safe to have him in that position, and the fact that he's always open and friendly. Uh, our late VC, uh, Professor Furusa, may his soul rest in peace, was also a very, very good guy, honestly, very friendly, talking to everybody. I remember most of internationals will have problems with their permits or will have problems with their school fees and stuff. And Professor Furusa was a very, he, he had a kind of a fatherhood in him. Honestly, it would be really dishonest for me not to mention his name, because I know I have testimonies of people, international students, that he will stand for for them. And yeah, he was really an amazing guy. And yeah, as an international, I was particularly marked by his leadership uh, throughout the year he served as the vice chancellor. I know there are many names. I know even within our community. I still remember former president of community, Daniel Kazadi, standing uh, there. It was a kind of a community thing, but on a bigger stage. His commitment toward the community is also something really noticeable, because from when you are the community representative, you shouldn't be flexible. You should be sometimes very aggressive, and you should be at the same time you should find the right balance between being flexible and aggressive, because this is a university thing. And I really think he found the balance, and the way he was standing for the community. I still remember that AFCON game that couldn't finish. Unfortunately, one of our brother got injured, and it was kind of a serious injury. But then after that, he is really to fight for justice to be made, and so yeah, those kind of commitments, they talk to you as an international. You're saying that there are really people that are truly committed.
They give a message.
Exactly. So, and especially we united I just bouncing back from there was a lot of tensions on the day, which is quite understandable. Soccer take you through all kind of emotions.
Mm.
But after that, we were brothers with our Wasa people. We united, we talked, and we fellowship again together, and we had a compromise. But
Mm-hmm.
then there was further steps to be made, and
Yes.
I'm sure Brother Daniel really did pretty well. There are
Mm.
different names that we can really mention. I still remember Brother Clarence.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brother Clarence was also very involved into different activities throughout the campus. I remember him being in the electoral committee.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him being in the SUP,
Mm.
and every single time he would take the voice, he always stand for internationals. He was really an inspiration. He was really someone that was um, uh, he had a special thing of yeah, of him being an international and always raising the voice and okay, kind of a confronting. It's not an easy confrontation with the university people, but he had the courage and the guts to really
Mm.
go against that. So yeah, I hope there will people won't be like, you didn't mention my name, but there are really many names that yeah,
Yeah.
some of them may just come later on, but yeah, a lot of people
Yes.
yeah, a lot of people's commitment they really marked my my journey here.
Mm-hmm. Right. You've been lately mentioning some of our university authorities, which is taking us into um, a question where our viewers really find interest into. Um, Most of our followers are really interested about the relationship between administration and the student, and we really want to talk about this. You lately mentioned that you've been the president of the Congolese community. How was that experience as the president? How was that relationship between you as the president and the administration? How would you describe that?
Well, it depends.
Okay,
Honestly,
depends.
when everything goes well, they are the most welcoming people in this world.
Okay, okay,
But when things are not
okay,
fine,
okay,
they can be hostile and really repulsive,
okay.
and which I understand, which I pretty much understand.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship, it's it, it's I mean the shades,
Mm.
the the, the shades of things not always going well and things all the time going well, and some of the time the needs as a student it's not the way they see it as staff members,
Mm.
and there's all that the relationship as of me. I would always try to find the right balance. And I told you I was the president during the COVID time. I
Yes.
can tell you there was a lot of problems
What
for
was
the
going
reasons
on?
that I already mentioned. But the thing is, you you try to you try to portray
Mm.
yourself as a leader to them, because if you're a leader, then you should understand rules. Okay,
Yes.
when there are rules that are set, no one should breach them.
Mm.
And when you're a leader, you can't always be standing for people that are breaching rules. Because, like for the COVID time, when someone is going out unauthorized,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's a it was a threat to all of us, because he can catch up COVID and he can we share the same bathrooms, we meet in the corridors,
Mm.
and he can spread the virus. So it was a danger to the extent that someone might be caught going outside and he's from a community. And the staff members, when you be going to advocate for such people, they'll be looking at you as a leader and the way you apprehend it.
Yes.
So, and on the other hand, you have the community looking at you and say, you are the president. What are you going to do? Are you just going to let your member being taken away of campus and just as a punishment and stuff. So that's the problem. That's where the relationship becomes very tricky, because you, as a leader, you need to find the proper balance. But they were most of the time welcoming, based on how you take the thing, based how you approach them, based how you advocate for your members. If you're just advocating for the sake of it, then you'll be rejected. And they've got to put a kind of an etiquette on your front, say this guy is not responsible. This guy is not a leader enough, because the kind of complaints that he brings up cannot be brought up in the sense of the way, because you can't be here and advocating for someone who's breached the rules 3 times, you know. So that's why I was saying, when things are fine, they are really welcoming, but when they're not fine, they can really be repulsive. So yeah, but overall, when you are doing the thing right, when you are within the rules that was we given, the rules, we can talk about the rules. They might be fair or unfair, but they are the rules, and we should abide with them. The administration can really be very welcoming, and even the high administration, you are welcome in every offices. You can see the registrar if you take an appointment. You can see the bursar if you take an appointment. You can see the VC. You can see almost everyone here at university. They are really open, and their doors are always open. But it has to be done in the sense of the way that you are really following what is being said. So I think the relationship for me was not that bad, because I assume to have found the proper balance between managing or advocating for my community and being within the rules that were set by the university. But on that, I think there is a structure. The administrative language is different from the student language. Why? Because the administration language is based on goals, on a set of things. They have their own way of doing things.
That's right.
That might please you or not. It's not really the problem, because this is the way it's done.
Yes.
And then there are students who sometimes come with what I can say realistic and unrealistic matters, that following the kind of structure or the kind of administration process cannot be accepted. So we can find it unfair, but the university has a structure. And on that, I would take it to the student representative concept. The SRSC should be the structure toward which the student goes, and then they take the matter exactly to the higher position through the structure, because they can be listed, they can be answered, and when they're elected, they take them through a kind of a process, an integration process, explaining to them and stuff. There is a structure. So for me, the failure sometimes to properly merge or properly communicate with the staff members is on the student representatives' fault. It's theirs fault, because that's their role. That's their role here at the university. Yeah. They should take that unstructured and random language of students and matters of students and factor it out to make it an administrative language, and to know exactly to which office this complaint can be taken to and how exactly it should be addressed. So yeah, that's a shared responsibility to me. And I really think for the most of time that I've seen the clashes between student and staff, I, w- I wouldn't blame the staff, but I would rather blame the student structure.
Student structure.
Yeah.
Okay. That was mostly into the angle where you were as the president of the community, right? But then some of the students, most of them are our followers, are into saying that sometimes we live in a very stressful environment. Campus, we can be stressed with our academical issues. Sometimes maybe some calls from home, and even our social life. But then from there, still in the relationship between the administration and the student, sometimes we come to see that the administration also stresses us, puts some stress on us in the way that some students being poorly treated into the offices. Some couldn't be well received into the offices. Sometimes they could be told that we cannot meet physically, so you should write an email. And that email would be replied later on after a lot of many days, or maybe not even replied. If you, how true do you think is that, and have you ever faced that?
Yeah, I did. Uh, I did face that. Just on the last thing you mentioned about
Mm,
emails, what I would say is the university was really unprepared,
mm,
to my point of view,
mm,
to handle all this situation.
mm,
Um, from the experience of a company perspective,
mm.
there is an office
Yes,
in every company
sure.
that is just there to deal with the hundreds and thousands of messages and communication that is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And that office then will take it. It's kind of a dispatch. They
Mm-hmm.
take it then to other offices, and the students, they know exactly to where they're supposed to be going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, who is the listener, who is the one. So the university was really unprepared to that before COVID-19. Uh, it took them by storm. I just imagine. Can you imagine if 400 students write an email to the bursar? I'm just asking myself. She'll see 400 messages, and if she has to be addressing those issues on an individual perspective,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna take her days. Referring to the former bursar, it could take her days, even weeks, to be able to handle 400 messages, 400 complaints. So the university was really unprepared, uh, and even today we can see that it's kind of insufficiency
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of the word, um, that is not yet addressed. To me, there should be a proper office to which we go and take our issues,
Mm-hmm.
and that office is able to deal with thousands of mails. I can tell you, 400 mails, we can have 300 of them asking the same thing. You see, and that office will be able to identify it and say, okay, these students have been all asking about this fee structure, or this other they've been asking about. So yeah, during COVID-19, we might have been prepared to shift to online learning, but maybe I did believe the university was unprepared into
Mm-hmm.
dealing with online matters, online queries, because when we're on campus, everyone can go at their offices at their own pace. I can go at 9, you can go at 11,
Mm-hmm.
I can go at 3. So usually we don't all find ourselves crowded there at the door because we are going at different times.
Mm-hmm.
So they can really deal with us.
Mm-hmm.
And on the matter of the hostility
Yeah.
of, that is really being shown to students when they're going into offices, yeah, that for sure. Uh, I I don't know. It's a matter of personality, and I wouldn't want to generalize things because I know we've got staff members who are really welcome. Whenever you go there, they're always friendly and they always listen to you. And some others, they're really hostile
Mm-hmm.
and they're really rejective. Like,
Mm.
yeah, all the time, they have a tendency for saying, "How these students is coming to complain," and on the assumption saying students are always wrong, or students are always asking for impossible stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
this kind of. So to me, it's a matter of personality, and again, I should just refer the students to the student representative council, because uh, if we are piling up complaints,
Mm-hmm.
then we should take them to the
Which,
proper offices
yes.
so that they can be addressed.
For sure. Following the structure is what makes all
Exactly.
the right. This is really interesting. We could take the whole day just listening to this. And from your own experience, what are the things that you have discovered or experienced in here at Africa University, which which you think could be a reason for other people to find interest at AU?
Oh, it's Africa University is actually, this is my second university experience.
All right.
I I I first had attended a university in my country, which is engineering studies.
All right.
So it's back home. It's all about university, nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
There is absolutely no other activities.
The academic or
Exactly. Everything is academic related, and students are always busy. They take you sometimes from Monday to Sunday.
Wow.
But here at Africa University, there is a different thing that makes it special. Is the fact that from the very first days when you reach here, they make you understand that it won't be all about academic.
Sure.
Yeah, there'll be more things for you to get involved in. There'll be activities, there'll be days, there'll be fun of exchanging. You know, finding yourself in a multicultural environment, it's really, I think it's an underrated asset that people usually don't take it the way it should be taken. Because when you work in multinational companies or just mining companies back home, you find yourself with 10 or 15 nationalities because of special skills. You know, back home we know that, for instance, the Peruvian are very good into mining. You find Peruvian in the mining company, you find Canadian in front of Africans. So most of the time, you notice that for the people that have never been exposed to multicultural environment, they struggle to that. It creates kind of a clashes. How can he talk to me like this? How can he treat me like this? How can he respond to me like? But in African University, you get used to that. You get used to different cultures, different personalities, different point of view. Exactly, and they push you towards having kind of leadership position. You know, it's even the slogan of the university, leaders of media. So yeah, I think you have that feeling. It's actually dependent on what I said in the beginning of your own personality and what again you want to achieve.
Yes.
When I first reached here and I whole discovered about all this SRC thing, I was really interested into that. So I'm gonna run for this thing because the university is structured in such a way that students really feel that it's not always about doing your assignments and reading your notes. It's a whole different experience. Being in the choir, for instance, it's an amazing experience. That's really enhances the whole experience, the whole journey, and you have a lot to say. I believe I will have a lot to say when I leave AU than I had a lot to say when I graduated from university there in Congo. I think it was all about 2 or 3 stories. But here I can literally write books because you're just taken and immersed and they're inside and like a fish into water. You always want to explore your environment, explore your so I think that's what makes this university very attractive, and that's what I would even tell to those who want to join. It's like it's not gonna be an academic journey. It's a kind of a little piece or a little time in your life where you're taken some way to live something special. You know, it happens to all of us that a part of our life means a lot to us than the rest. You can always remember for years and years that my 20s were the best. There was this 2 years I spent in this particular country, this particular year that really marked my life. This is how we describe the experience at university. Is that special time on top of the degree that you're earning. You have a lot to say.
Just once in a blue moon, yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, that's what really makes this university stand out.
Mm.
And yeah, makes it really special.
Wow, thank you very much. This is where we are learning into. So, what could be your advice to all the students in general, international and even national students who are still in the journey, yet to learn and face and experience some of the things? What could be your final say about it?
But I think the first thing
Mm.
is a very realistic point of view.
Mm.
Most of us, most of the people, just based on statistics, you go to university once in your life.
Sure.
Yeah. Only a few have the chance. I can count myself among the lucky ones
Mm.
to be able to attend to two universities in two different experiences, but you go to
Mhm.
university once. Once you have it in mind, it's gonna change the way you're going to apprehend it and embrace it. You tell yourself, I might not have this opportunity again. Because you know the working environment, it's a dull environment. It's monotonic and it's just repeating the whole same stuff
Mm.
every single day.
Mm.
In a working environment, you can have workmates, the same workmates for 20 years. The same old people. You know all about their lives.
Yeah.
Working environment is really boring. And when we cross this bridge, which is the academic bridge, we go into adulthood life, which is one of the most monotonic life. I can tell you because after graduating from first university, I had a chance to work before coming again. It's a very down university. It's a very down moment. So once you at university, you should really enjoy yourself. You should tell yourself this is a once in a lifetime opportunity where I can really rediscover myself, where I can really make friends, where I can really have fun, where I can really make the right choices because it goes in both ways. Because if you get lost, then it means you lost for life.
Mm.
Yeah, what we take right now, most most of us we go to university in our early tens and late tens and early 20s. Okay, what you take right now, it's what is gonna be with you for the rest of your life. The personality, the character, your daily habits. That is going to take you through the whole life.
Mm.
So even making right choices right now, even setting yourself up, this is a kind of a training time. If if our body usually asks for more rest.
Sure.
Our body usually asks for uh, analytical stuff.
Mm.
That's really gives you those unrealistic sensations. This is the body. It's really weak, and if you just kneel down and do whatsoever the body is asking you to do, then the habits will build up the character. You know, those little things that you'll be doing on a daily basis, after 2 days, repeatedly, they will build up the character for you. So it's very dangerous to the extent that people don't really notice how they would have lost their way, and they just and people around them will be like, how did this happen? Abraham was a very good guy, so how come is he today like this? It was just a compilation of those little things that you turn.
Yes.
Unknowingly, unconsciously, and piling up, they've built up a character. And you've become a way different person. Which is very dangerous. Finding the proper balance, making the right choice, enjoy, make friends, discover yourself and stuff. Tell yourself, I will never be at university again. And when I leave this place, this is gonna take me for many of us
Mm.
to this working environment, this harder tools that is awaiting us ahead. So it's really important to have that in mind. That's the whole advice I'll give myself back then when I graduated, when I left high school. I mean, uh, I'll tell myself this because for my first experience at university, I was an academic student. It was all about academic, all about learning, all about nothing else. I forgot about life.
Mm.
And later on, you have regrets, saying, why didn't I open up? Why didn't I be friends? And all those kind of stuff. And I'm thankful to God that I have the opportunity to come back again at university. And I told myself, this one will be different. Let me open. Let me. I've been involved in a lot of things at university. I've been all over because I know that you had this chance twice. You won't have two times.
Mm.
So this is it. So that's the advice I'll give just
Wow.
fellow student and on internationals. It's also a lifetime opportunity visiting the country. Whilst you're at Africa University, if you have the opportunity, um, just walk around, visit the country, travel, visit the people, go on those touristic attractions and stuff. Visit the country because you might not have the opportunity again to come back to Zimbabwe.
Sure.
And this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, especially to the final years.
Yeah.
Like me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are like 7 months away.
7 months away.
Yeah, from leaving this country, from graduating, for the most of us. So this is the time to discover the country. This is the time to make friends. This is the time to, yeah. So that's all I would say.
Wow. Thank you very much. I hope you guys have been listening to this very attentively. So we thank you, sir. Thank you for honoring us here with your presence, and thanks for opening up.
The pleasure is mine. Actually, today, while I was getting ready to come to the show, I was like, most of the shows that we know about, those very famous talk shows in the world, they didn't start by being famous like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It takes a process. It's a very encouraging initiative. Maybe people can be hesitant to come in and talk and share, but a very really encouraging. When I was invited to come, I didn't even think twice because it's something that really needs to be encouraged.
Wow, thank you.
In the sense of thing, we should really talk. We should listen to each other. This is a raw talk, because people on the TVs, politicians, most of the time, those people, they've got bigger stage. From the moment you have a very wide stage, you structure your speech. But this is a raw talk. What we're saying is just what's coming from the heart. It's really amazing to listen to the way people talk about themselves. And so really overwhelmed.
It's just wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. So, guys, it's your show, Therapeutic Talk Show. I am pretty sure you've been enjoying yourself. So, as you have heard before, do not forget to mention your name before you mention 3 names of the people you love. Love yourself, take care of yourself, enjoy yourself, and join us. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and feel free to grab the seat and let's talk about it. See you next time. Thank you.